by the time Tinubu finishes his 4 years, there may be no opposition anymore. I repeat, by the time Tinubu finishes his 4 years, there may be no opposition anymore. Like I said, number one political strategy of the APC is to make sure that they destroy the opposition, and they are doing it effectively. If you look at the by-elections, you understand that the opposition, the ADC, the Northern Coalition, they are losing their relevance. Now, we know that the battle for 2027 is between North and South. Like I said, it only takes a coalition to beat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What is Tinubu doing that every other politician is not doing? Number one, he had to go into northern Nigeria and make sure that he destroyed the cabals in northern Nigeria. When you look at the supposed cabals in northern Nigeria, they are getting old. Buhari is no more. We have a Babangida, Absalami, we are not hearing from him anymore. Now, Tinubu has made sure that the North lose its grip on national politics. And whatever opposition that can remove Tinubu will come from northern Nigeria. The population of northern Nigeria, the vote from northern Nigeria, is the only driving force for any opposition to remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Personally, I have said that there's one person that if he runs against Tinubu and he is serious about that, he will beat Tinubu before 12 a.m. 2027. And that person is from the South. His name is Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now, northern Nigeria is desperate for power because northern Nigeria cannot sustain itself without being in power. Over the years, they have been so lazy, and they talk about Nigeria, talk about power as if they are the ones that created this country. They call themselves born to rule. Now, for the past few years, 2 years, let's say 2 years, that they have been disconnected. Most of their top guys have been disconnected from power. You see the lamentation. Why am I saying that? After Tinubu's 4 years, there may be no opposition anymore. It's because the North coalition, South and Northern coalition of the opposition have failed to come together to have a consensus that will be effective to remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, it takes a lot of things to remove Tinubu. It takes a lot of things. I have said before that Atiku and Obi should go and chop winch. Go and chop winch to remove a person like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Somebody from the Obedient movement gave reasons why they lost the last elections. That is the ADC coalition. Mind you, Labour Party is in disarray. PDP, when it comes to presidential elections in Nigeria, is in disarray. The only functioning party is the ADC. Like what happened during the last election, I suspect that the APC is setting a trap for the coalition. They made sure that the coalition never at any point in time wins any seat. Not even in Anambra State or Adamawa State. Obi did not win in Anambra. Erufai did not win in Kaduna. Atiku did not win in even, it seems like a setup. They even made the PDP win elections. Although there's this power of incumbency. But under Tinubu, if the APC wants to win any election in any state, they know what they have been doing in the past, as confirmed by Erufai. They know how they have been doing it, as confirmed by Aregbesola. If APC wants to win any election with Tinubu as commander-in-chief of the armed forces, they know what they can do to win elections. Maybe they just allowed these states have control of their whatever. And the PDP came out stronger. NMPP came out stronger than even ADC that everybody is banking on. I just noticed that if P2B put out a post before the by-election, you see so much engagement, so much views. But the last time he put out a post, I saw after 5 hours, he has not gotten up to 40 views. 40,000 views, I mean. It tells a lot about how they are declining. They are losing their steam. Now, if any opposition is going to rise to remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that should be after 2027. Any preparation that does not kickstart now and kickstart effectively without the APC actively sabotaging that movement, if you don't start this year, any movement, any coalition, any party that comes out next year to contest against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, my brother, he would not, that party would just be wasting their money. Because there needs to be fervent preparations as we speak. You need to carry the people along. Remember, the APC has money. The APC has a structure of criminality. They are willing, their structure of criminality have been rewarded with positions in government. And they will do anything they can to preserve those positions in government. So if it's time for election, they will all come out and mobilize themselves in their various constituencies. So APC has political power. APC has propaganda. APC has people in government that they may finance to make sure they campaign against or whatever. APC has influencers in and out of the country. APC has a lot on his stake to win this election through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, the impression now is that it is a southern presidency, and some northern politicians are now thinking, let us allow Tinubu finish his 4 years. If he finishes 4 years, then we can now come out and say it is the turn of northern Nigeria. Man, I can tell you for free that even after Tinubu's 8 years, there are other plans. There are other plans. I gave a candid advice to the coalition that, Mr. Coalition, if you allow a Tinubu win this election, 2027, just know that it is almost over. If you are not going to pay homage to the kingdom of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to his political empire, if he lives much more than 2031, 2039, if you are not going to pay, you'll be surprised that 2031, we'll be talking about another story entirely. It is high time for southern Nigeria to unite, come together, and make sure that we bring good governance to the people. The most important thing now is good governance to the people. And how can that governance be achieved? If you restructure Nigeria. We will always say what we say because of what we have experienced. Some people believe that Tinubu can be different and fix Nigeria in no time, left, right, center. My brother, if you don't restructure this country, Tinubu has just 8 years if he wins the next elections. And some people, when they get into power, they can do and undo. If a northern person gets into power and they see what Tinubu has done, they may follow in his template and his footsteps and cause more harm than good at the end of the day. That is why we are saying that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has an opportunity, one of the most luckiest person alive from the southwest. If he is actually from the southwest, one of the most luckiest person alive to enact this change. Look at the Senate. APC is almost getting to thirds. I told you that by the end of this year, many people will decamp to the APC because we can wait there for PDP. You see, what I see under APC is a controlled opposition. Controlled opposition. How did Tinubu achieve this? My brother, you people should go and ask Tinubu, how did he achieve this controlled opposition? If it were a Jonathan that was president at this point in time, northern Nigeria would have bullied the hell out of Jonathan. If it is Obasanjo, they will have used their generals, their brothers and sisters to remind Obasanjo, we brought you out of prison and made you president. Make sure you adhere. Jonathan was loyal to the North. This is the only southern president that has come out to tell the North, let the South rule. Let the South rule Nigeria. You don't have to interfere. When Buhari was president, we did not interfere in whatever you were doing. Buhari did a lot of things. We kept quiet. Now let the South rule Nigeria. My problem with Tinubu, sincerely, is that he is not playing that politics whereby he's taking everybody in the South along, uniting the South genuinely, not by using political power, using EFCC, using threats to unite southern Nigeria. It doesn't work like that. Maybe Tinubu, after Tinubu's 8 years or whatever, maybe God takes him. Now, if you use that system of bullying people into your political empire, the same way the political empire will collapse. See, it is only Buhari. I don't know how Buhari got his people to support him in northern Nigeria. His political empire has not the support and the love they have for Buhari and Uthman Danfodio has not. Ahmadu Bello, Uthman Danfodio, Buhari has not collapsed. I don't know how they were able to get people to support them. Maybe they had to preach an ideology, and everybody resonated with that ideology. But if your political, the way you drive your political structure is by coercing people into joining you, my brother, it might yield negative results if you are no more. So the most important thing is that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should find ways to come and unite Southern Nigeria, because a united Southern Nigeria will drive restructuring to a great extent. Northern Nigeria is not like it is anymore. It's not the same. Northern Nigeria of Buhari, of Jonathan, of Yar'Adua, of Obasanjo is different from the Northern Nigeria of today. When you look at it critically, even the Arewa self, they are rejecting Arewa. Christians, Northern Christians are not in line with Southern Christians. The Middle Belt, North Central, they are not in line with Southern Christians. Some parts of Northwest. In fact, APC has a lot of support from Northwest and North Central. And these people are the ones that hold Northern Nigeria. North Central, now them be the food basket of the nation. When it comes to farming and all have you, now them be the food basket of the nation. When it comes to commercial activities, you go to Northwest. Yes, I think so. Northwest. Kogi, Ondo, Kogi, Kwara, other states, they have mineral deposits that can sustain the other parts of Northern Nigeria. So the APC, Tinubu is playing his game. And the coalition, they are sitting down, they are looking at Tinubu. He's doing what he's doing. You see, we are going to have problem with P2B and co. for not doing the needful, for not playing the leadership role. You must know the kind of enemy you have. And you must know the kind of things you need to do at a particular point in time. You must be ready for the battle ahead before you start telling everybody, let us go. If you're not ready, you allow other people take up the mantle. Look at Umahi challenging a P2B because of maybe what they are selling to him in APC. Somebody said that having an Igbo presidency from the ADC, the coalition, is possible than having an Igbo presidency from the APC under Tinubu. My brother, this Umahi that is talking against P2B, when it gets to a point, you see, under Tinubu, you see, even Abga of Soludo, everybody is aligning Mba, Abga, Soludo, Alex Oti. They are aligning with the APC 2027. You see, Alex Oti, I told you at the beginning of this year, I did a broadcast. At the beginning, I told you that Alex Oti is aligning with the APC by the end of this year. We are going to look at it. You see, Soludo, and anybody that wants to win election in Southern Nigeria, so far Tinubu is the president. They understand what the APC can do when it comes to rigging elections. That is why there's a fear. Not that this guy, they fear Tinubu. They fear what Tinubu can be able to do. When you carry absolute power, you give to somebody that has, I don't know, let me not say this. You carry absolute power, give person like Tinubu, and you expect rule of law. My brother, any rule of law you see happening under the APC, or under Tinubu's APC, it is to score political points. I told you, the first on his resume, anything he wants to achieve, is for him to complete 8 years. Whatever he's going to do for him to complete 8 years, man, he will do so. He bullies everybody and unbully. Look at why did 5 major reasons why the ADC, let me read this out, lost the by-elections. Let's say our inability to participate in vote buying. Look at what this is an obedient movement person, a P2B person. Our inability to participate in vote buying. Okay. Number 2, our inability to use thugs to disrupt the election. Number 3, our inability to intimidate voters. 4, lack of the required support from the national level. Number 5, insufficient time to be fully prepared for the task. Let's look at it one by one. Inability to participate in vote buying. How do you tackle this? Now, it is clever to identify the problems, the challenges. If you are going to fight with an enemy, you must know the problems that you might likely face. When you watch this Roman film, whereby the Spartacus had to fight the king. No, not Spartacus. I think one had to fight the Roman king. The Roman king had a lot of advantages with him. They first had to damage the spine of the fighter before he can fight the king. The king had sword, armors, and everything. They just gave the fighter anything. So the fighter himself had to understand the kind of advantages the king in the arena had over him. So he had to use a lot of deceptive techniques or tactics to defeat, to kill, or whatever he did to the king. So now the obedient movement, the coalition, you identified a lot of things. Our inability to participate in vote buying. Is vote buying good for our democracy? No. How do you tackle vote buying? That is when you organize people who will tell you indoor on how to tackle vote buying. You don't come out on social media and say, this is how we are going to tackle vote buying. If your opponent see the measures you are going to use to attack him, and where his own strength lies, if you expose it to your opponent, my brother, your opponent will use another tactic. Number two, our inability to use talks to disrupt the election. Can the coalition use talks to disrupt the election? That is left for them to organize themselves. But if I are the one on the part of vote buying, I will be willing to sacrifice a lot of things for reforms. Try and make sure you set a trap for the government whereby you can capture the government in carrying out all these things. For instance, vote buying, this and that. There might be 1 or 2 videos of vote buying, and this opposition, they just keep quiet on it. You keep on repeating it. Like what happened during the last elections. If the OBM movement had been able to revisit most of these videos, put it at the front of the minds of Nigerians day by day, they are seeing it. You know, this thing about APC and their media propaganda is that they put things before you so that it affects your mentality, your thought process, how you see things. If the obedient movement had an organized media team that's always hampering on the particular incident of the APC from 2015 to 2023, a lot of things happening, what they did, reminding, rinse and repeat, try and turn the back, turn it up, turn it down, talk about the side of what happened, what they did, create an image for the APC. It will have gone a long way in trying to make Nigerians reason with the coalition that no, the APC is not it. But they are just, you see, the APC is always on the attack. The obedient movement, at a point, they are always on the defense. The APC started attacking Peter Obi. Now the obedient movement had to be defending. If the obedient movement attack the APC and their influencers, what would the APC do? The APC will not go and defend. What they do is most times they attack. Attack requires attack. That is how to win the battle. But if you're always on the defense, you create an impression. You are being hit. You create a victory impression for the person that is hitting you. So a lot of things are happening. I don't know whether we are going to be able to manage the propaganda of Tinubu, the coalition that I'm seeing. See, so many people with personal interest. This one with this one will become president. That one will become president. Everybody's not even looking at how can we make Nigeria better? How can we restructure? What are we selling to the people? What can we sell so that the people can buy? What can we sell to the people so that the people can revolt and protest? Under Tinubu now, the way it looks like, there is a controlled protest. People that can protest in Nigeria today, in quote, I stand to be corrected, Shore and very dark man. I tell you, who can organize protest? Let us go and protest. Let NLC go and protest. But when you see a Shore going to protest, nothing happens to him, really. Nothing happens to him. They just play the script for you. You go protest. At the end of the day, the protest does not yield anything. So they know people that they need for. They know that if we control the opposition or activism, it will enable us to write a script for everybody to follow. Now, the coalition, they cannot protest, they cannot march, they cannot influence anybody to do anything, they cannot lead anybody to do anything, and they expect to win elections. Ordinary photo ops and this thing on social media, they come on social media, they do this and it. I genuinely want the coalition to work, but hence they are doing nothing tangible for the whole thing. I don't know. I just don't know. May God help them. Now, lack of our inability to intimidate voters, lack of required support from the national level. Now, since they have identified a lot of things that made them not to be able to beat Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are they going to come to a drawing board? Are they going to be united? Note, and I'll repeat again and again and again. Note, you cannot beat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu without a coalition. So if P2B believes that he can run that alone with his obedient movement, he's our guest. Like I said, he's losing relevance, he's losing the steam. If P2B posts on Twitter, you see the number of views he's going to get. But now look at the views he's getting. It seems people like, man, Nigerians are easily swayed. So you should understand the market. If you don't understand the market and how to enter the market, how did P2B get that popularity? It's from that easily swayable nature, easily convincing nature of Nigerians. Nigerians were like, man, we don't want Buhari. Who is next? P2B, wonderful man. Let's vote for him. We voted for him. P2B has to be, P2B, Atiku and co. They have to be serious with whatever they are doing. Because even though they don't win 2027, there are other days. At least there should be a lot of attribution. Tinubu is not God. Tinubu is beatable. I repeat, Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not God. He is beatable any day, anytime. I have told you that it is Jonathan. If Jonathan come and runs this election, the coalition accept. Not Nigeria, everybody accept. My brother. And they do things that are right. They bring out a media team and they start telling Nigerians a lot about Tinubu's policies and how it is impoverishing them and how they are paying so much and how they are the ones that are bearing the brunt, while the president and his people and some of the elites, some of the top companies are spanning to the bank. They can do a lot of things. But as it stands, if Tinubu continues in this trajectory, we may never have opposition in Nigeria anymore. May God help Nigerians.